h of x is less than or equals to f of x is less than or equals to g of x for all x belongs to AB. Okay, right. And as well they mentioned that limit x tends to c h of x is L, limit x tends to c g of x is L. So h of x and g of x are two functions. Their limit value is L at x is equals to c, and that c is in between A to B. Then in that case, limit x tends to f of x is also L. So first of all, the problem is completely in the interval A to B. For suppose if this is A and this is B, then we need to pay our attention on this interval AB. First of all, the first function h of x. H of x, we are going to concentrate on the graph of the function h of x in the interval AB. And as they mentioned, C is a point in between AB somewhere. See, take somewhere anywhere, okay, not at exactly middle, somewhere in between AB we have C. And the limit value is L, okay, we have L somewhere on this y-axis. Then when you observe the graph of that h of x, limit x tends to C, h of x is L. So the graph will be some in any way, but at C, the graph is approaching to L. The graph of h of x is approaching to L as extending to C. Okay, limit x tends to C, h of x, L in the sense either x is approaching to C either from left side or from right side. The graph h of x is approaching to L. So usually the graph will be like this. Okay, in any one of the way. Just I am giving you the rough sketch. Okay, maybe this is the graph of h of x, right? So at C, when you observe, the limit value is L for h of x, and then just try to sketch the graph of g of x. As they mentioned, h of x and g of x. This h of x always less than or equals to g of x. So at A, maybe the graph of g of x starts here, but at C again the limit value is L only. So when you sketch the graph of g of x, maybe it is like this. In any way, okay, not an exact. In any way, at A and at B, the graph should be continuous from A to B, and at C, for sure it is approaching to L. So when you are reaching to C from left side, the graph is coming nearer to L. When we are nearer to C in right side, again the graph is nearer to L. So when you observe these graphs, this red color part indicates h of x, this green color part indicates h of x, and both the graphs are continuous in between L and B, AB, continuous in between AB, and the limit values of those two graphs at C is L. And now I have another function f of x. So when you observe f of x, the f of x is in between these two. See, this is one graph and this is another graph. The graph of f of x is in between these two. It may be any one of the way. So maybe the graph of f of x may be like this. We don't know exactly, right? Maybe like this, the graph of f of x, because it is in between these two functions, right? And that's why the sketch of f of x, the black color line will pass through these two graphs in such a way. So since it is passing in between these two graphs in such a way, when you try to calculate the limit value of f of x at C, again it will become L, and for sure it exists. Since this limit exists and that limit exists, for sure the limit of the middle function f of x also exists. That in the sense, at this particular point C, all these three graphs are just approaching to L as x is approaching to C. Okay, so this is usually called as sandwich theorem. Sandwich usually represents in between. Okay, the word sandwich or squeeze is usually it means in between. Okay, right. So here f of x is just in between these two graphs, and so we are mentioning it as sandwich theorem. How it helps us to solve the problems? How it helps us to solve the problems? So when you think about the problems, if you are trying to find limit x tends to C f of x, instead of using standard limit, instead of using geometrical ideas, or instead of using left hand limit and right hand limit, you just think about any two functions like h of x and g of x, such that this f of x is in between those two functions, just like a sandwich. So that f of x, if it is in between h of x and g of x, and if it is very easy to find the limits of these two, then clearly the same limit value is for this f of x also. I will give you some problems related to the sandwich theorem. First of all, you just try to analyze the statement. This is the statement of sandwich theorem. So when you speak orally, see, we have three functions. So those three functions are in an order like this: h of x, f of x, g of x. They are in an order, and if the extreme functions have the same limit as well, then for sure the middle function also have the same limit. That is basically sandwich theorem. Okay, I will give you some problems to solve. Have a look. So look at the board, some simple problem related to the sandwich theorem. Okay, first problem: limit x tends to infinity, step x by x. See, actually direct replacement of x with infinity is somewhat complicated. God gives you correct answer. Okay, step infinity by infinity. Okay, step infinity itself is meaningless, and so that is also meaningless. But with the help of sandwich theorem, we will give you a proper answer. So what you know about step x? What you know about step x? See, step x is usually what? I will give you some ideas about step x. I think you all know. Once again, I will explain for you, and then I go for to solve the problem. See, step x value is equals to n if that x value is in between n and n plus 1. Is it right? If x is a number in between any two natural numbers or any two integers, then step x value is n. So step x is n if n less than or equals to x less than n plus 1. So now when you replace n with step x, we have an inequality. Step x is less than or equals to x is less than step x plus 1. Step x is less than or equals to x less than step x plus 1. And one more thing is, see, step x is less than or equals to x, and when you think about these two, when send this x this side, you get that x minus 1 less than step x. Since x is less than step x plus 1, when you send 1 this side, it will become x minus 1 less than step x. Now you just pay attention on these two things. X minus 1 less than step x is one idea. Step x less than or equals to x is other idea. When you combine these two, we have, okay, x minus 1 less than step x less than or equals to x. X minus 1 less than step x less than or equals to x. So this is the required inequality for us now. The problem is about step x by x. So if you divide everything with the x, since as they mentioned x is tending to infinity, so for sure x is positive. At infinity always there are only positive numbers, so easily you will divide with x. So x minus 1 by x is less than step x by x is less than or equals to x by x. And now this x minus 1 by x is simply 1 minus 1 by x is less than step x by x is less than or equals to 1. And now you just apply limit x tends to infinity now. So for this function, what is that function? 1 minus 1 by x. For that function, as extending to infinity, the limit value is 1. Whereas for this function, as extending to infinity, the limit value is 1 because it is constant. So this function has limit value 1, that function has limit value 1, then by sandwich theorem, this middle function also has limit value 1. And so the answer for this problem is 1. Okay, so this function as x is tending to infinity, 1 minus 1 by infinity is 1, that is clearly a constant. So the middle function also has limit value 1. So that's the problem. And see, to find out limits for this type of function, sandwich theorem helps us. But to apply sandwich theorem, initially we need one inequality in this way. Okay, and since it is step function, this is the basic inequality on step x and x. Have a look. Now next problem B. Limit x tends to 0 x by a into step of b by x. So this time again, to solve this problem we need to get the help of the same inequality on step function. So this is the standard inequality, but this time b by x is there in the step, so we need to apply this inequality for b by x. Then how it becomes, just have a look. As per this statement, b by x minus 1 is less than step of b by x is less than or equals to b by x. Just have a look. In the place of x, you just replace with b by x. So step of b by x is always there in between these two functions. But our intention is to find this limit. So multiply everything with x by a. Okay, then it becomes like this: x by a into b by x minus 1 less than x by a into step of b by x is less than or equals to x by a into b by x. And now when you simplify this part, b minus x by x and x will get cancelled. You left with b minus x by a is less than x by a into step of b by x is less than or equals to b by a. So now just look here. This left side function, when you replace x with 0, b minus 0 by a is b by a, and whereas this right side function is b by a, then for the middle function, see, the function which is in between these two also gives you the slave limit value as x is tending to 0, and its answer is b by a, right? Direct replacement or any standard limit, all these things are not worked at this type of problems. Okay, to solve this type of problems we need to use sandwich theorem, and for sandwich theorem initially we need to build up this type of inequalities, right? Just have a look and then I will discuss third one. Okay, since the third problem is also involved with step, we need to use same logic. Okay, have a look. Now third problem, limit n tends to infinity step x plus step 2x plus and so on plus step nx divided by n square. First of all, look at the problem. Since it is involved with step, we need to use the same standard inequality of involved with step to solve this problem. See, step x is in between x minus 1 and x, but the numerator contains step x, step 2x, step 3x and so on step nx. So for each and every step, you just apply the inequality and then add everything. After that we will solve it. Okay. First of all, think about x minus 1 is less than step x less than or equals to x. So this is step x. And then step 2x. So 2x minus 1 less than step 2x less than or equals to 2x. So and then 3x minus 1. Okay. Likewise we need to apply for everything. Step x, step 2x, step 3x. At the end step nx. So nx minus 1 is less than step nx is less than or equals to nx. The numerator is step x plus step 2x plus and so on plus step nx. So we need to add all these things. So add them. So while adding, look at the left side boundaries. See these left side functions. X minus 1, 2x minus 1, 3x minus 1 and so on nx minus 1. When you add all these things, x, 2x, 3x and nx involves. So 1 plus 2 plus and so on plus n into x. This is addition, right? Minus 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. We need to add for n times. So minus n, which is less than. So step x plus step 2x plus step 3x plus and so on plus step nx. So instead of writing all these things, I am just taking it as the numerator. Okay, this is the numerator of the function, right? And that's why I am taking this. It is like nr, the numerator of the problem, instead of writing the total summation because of the space. That's it. Which is less than or equals to, add all these things, 1x, 2x, 3x and so on, nx. When you add all these things, 1 plus 2 plus and so on plus n into x. So sum of first n natural numbers, we know the rule is this: n into n plus 1 by 2 minus n is less than numerator, which is less than or equals to n into n plus 1 by 2 into x. We know that sum of first n natural numbers, right? And then we need this numerator divided by n square. So divide that numerator by n square. So for that, divide everything with n square. So when you divide everything with n square, what will happen? This function divided by n square, this expression divided by n square. I will write it like this: n square plus n divided by 2n square. Is there anything wrong? N into n plus 1 is n square plus n. Since we are dividing with n square by 2n square, minus n by n square is 1 by n, which is less than that numerator divided by n square is less than or equals to n square plus n divided by 2n square into x. Okay, here also we need to mention x, right? Into x. Okay. Now, since we are applying limit n tends to infinity, what will happen now? Just have a look. Since we are applying limit n tends to infinity, what is this left side function value and what is this right side function value? So when you replace n with infinity, okay, not x, n with infinity. If you replace n with infinity, what will happen? Okay, just look there, because of space I am just discussing. So when you replace n with infinity here for this function, limit n tends to infinity. So otherwise I will give you clear idea. I will erase this. So just apply limit n tends to infinity. Limit n tends to infinity, n square plus n by 2n square into x minus 1 by n. What is its value? Just observe here. As n is tending to infinity, 1 by n value is 0, leave it. And x is not affected by this n. N square plus n by 2n square, the degrees are same for numerator and denominator. Directly 1 by 2 is the limit value, but x is there. So 1 by 2 into x, x by 2 is this answer. Then think about that function. Okay? Then limit n tends to infinity. What is that? N square plus n by 2n square into x. Same logic. Degree of numerator and denominator are same. So as n is tending to infinity, see the ratio between the coefficients of the leading coefficients is the answer. N square coefficient is 1, n square coefficient is 2, 1 by 2 into x, x by 2 is the limit. So since that limit value is x by 2 and this limit value is x by 2, then for sure the function which is in between these two has same limit. Therefore, limit n tends to infinity, that numerator divided by n square also gives you x by 2. At the end I will conclude it by writing the given function. Limit n tends to infinity, step x plus step 2x plus and so on plus step nx divided by n square is equals to x by 2. Okay, have a look, that's the problem. At the end your answer is x by 2, right? So bit lengthy but very simple using sandwich theorem. Have a look. So just look at some more problems. Limit x tends to 0, x sin 1 by x. Limit x tends to infinity, x sin 1 by x. X tends to 0 sin 1 by x. X tends to infinity sin 1 by x. See, they are simple actually to say. But among these, the first one requires sandwich theorem to answer. Limit x tends to 0, x sin 1 by x. So as we know that sin 1 by x is in between minus 1 and 1, right? So always sine function is in between minus 1 and 1. When you replace directly x with 0, it is actually not exist, right? As extending to 0, this is infinity. So sine 1 by x. When you replace x with 0, 0 into sine 1 by 0, sine infinity. Sine infinity, we don't know exact value, okay? And that's why we are thinking for the other idea. Sin 1 by x value is always in between minus 1 and 1. Sin 1 by x value, since it is in between minus 1 and 1, you just multiply with x now. Okay, when you multiply with x, minus x less than or equals to x sin 1 by x is less than or equals to x. Now just apply limit x tends to 0. Okay, now what will happen? Limit x tends to 0, minus x is less than or equals to limit x tends to 0, x sin 1 by x is less than or equals to limit x tends to 0 x. So we have a chance to write in this way also, okay, but previously we won't mention that. And this left one, limit x tends to 0, minus x value is 0, limit x tends to 0, x value is 0. Since those two are zeros, then for sure this limit also 0. So limit x tends to 0, x sin 1 by x value is 0. Okay, so direct replacement is not suggesting you directly whether it is 0 or not. Okay, so that's why this discussion is clear. Limit x tends to 0, x sin 1 by x is 0, right? Just with the help of sandwich theorem. Then think about the next one. Limit x tends to infinity, x sin 1 by x. So how to solve it? Yes, this x is tending to infinity, here 1 by x is involved and x is involved. Simply to answer this, you just take 1 by x is equals to t, okay, or 1 by x is equals to theta, anything as you wish. So if you take 1 by x is equals to t, what will happen? As x is tending to infinity, this t as x tending to infinity, you will get that t tends to 0. So this problem will become like this. This is equals to limit t tends to 0, and this x is simply what? 1 by t, and sin 1 by x is nothing but sin t, and we know that limit t tends to 0, sin t by t value is 1. So this is 1, so this limit value is 1. Whereas the last one, when you observe, as x is tending to infinity, that is equals to sin of 1 by infinity, so sin 0, which is 0. 1 by infinity is 0, okay, sin 0 is 0. But whereas this one, limit x tends to 0, sin 1 by x, that is equals to sin of 1 by 0. Sin of 1 by 0 is actually sin infinity. Sin infinity is actually a value which is in between minus 1 and 1, but there is no exact idea of that value. And in another way, 1 by x is not defined as x is tending to 0. So when you replace x with 0, sin 1 by 0, sin 1 by 0 is sin infinity, whose value is exactly not known, and that's why we say that this value is not exist. We know that sin infinity value is in between minus 1 and 1, but exact value is not known for us, okay, and that's why we mention it as the limit value not exist. Okay, think about these four. Limit x tends to infinity, x sin 1 by x is 0 with the help of sandwich theorem. Limit x tends to infinity, x sin 1 by x is 1 just by taking 1 by x is equals to t. Limit x tends to 0, sin 1 by x value not exist. And limit x tends to infinity, sin 1 by x value is 0. Have a look. And that's for today's class. Okay.